All right. Welcome to Sideboard MTG. My name's Eric, and we're going to be playing some blue-green or green-blue Karn. Yes, that's right. The deck is all about Karn. It's about making the most out of all of his abilities, especially the minus ability. If you guys want to hear a little bit more about Karn from some of the pros, there's an article written by, or it's on the Wizards website. I don't know the author of the article, but there were some questions for Louis Scott Vargas, LSV, and there were some questions for Matt Nash, who is known as one of the better combo players in modern. His deck was, I think it took down GP Phoenix, but it's a scrap trawler deck. So of course they wanted to get some information from him. But if you guys want to check that out, there's a link in the description box below where you can read that article and where it talks about Karn and abusing Karn. And tonight we're going to be playing the Channel Fireball blue green Karn deck, and that's exactly what it is. So I hope you guys like it. Well, if you do, give it a thumbs up. And if you like the content in general, make sure you subscribe to the channel. There's a couple other Pro Tour decks I'm going to be running this week. One of those is Flame, Mono Red Flame deck, where it's Flame of the Kiln. Oh, the Red Saga. Anyway, we're going to be playing that later this week. We've got some devs decks coming out, so stick around. Make sure you subscribe if you want to see those. And we're gonna talk about this Karn deck and kind of get into it here. Pretty interesting deck, and it's running some pieces that I've been playing around with and thought that were quite powerful for quite some time now. So hopefully we'll have some fun with it tonight, and we'll see where it goes. Now, I will say that Channel Fireball and the other teams that were running this, they didn't do extremely well. Ivan Flock, like if you want to see the deck get run by one of the pros, round one of the Pro Tour, Dominaria, Ivan Flock ran this, and I believe it was one of his teammates were also at the event tables. What do you call those? Spotlight? No. Oh, either way, they were the ones on camera. So round one will show you, some good play by players like Ivan Flock, Pro Tour champion. Some other really good players were playing this deck, but most of Channel Fireball were on this deck, and we're gonna go down through each of the cards, and I'm gonna give my opinion on them. Remember, my opinion's not exactly everyone else's, so maybe not. I will say that I was absolutely in love with the fact that they had Scrap Trawler, Implements, and Walking Ballista in the deck. Now, there's some other cards in this deck that I'm not extremely excited about, but they seem to do the job or seem to fit the purpose. I'm going to say fit the purpose more than anything else. I'm not real fond of Land Warriors, but getting your Karn down on turn 3 is actually really, really important in this deck. So that's kind of one of the main reasons for having the Land Warriors. Now, there is a single copy of Servant of Conduit in the deck, and it stands for the same purpose. Getting Karn down on 3 is very important. So we do have some options to beat Chain Whirler and things like that, and one of those is our Implement. Implement of Ferocity. You can pay 1 green, crack it, and put a 1/1 counter on your Llanowar Elves to save your Llanowar Elves from a Goblin Chain Whirler. So that is an option. That is something that you can do. However, it may or may not be the available to us on turn 3 when the Chain Whirler comes down. However, if we can get our Karn down, then it doesn't really matter that much. So Jizza says deck looks good. Not a fan of Implements and the Rebukes in this build. Well, I'm not a fan of a couple cards in this build. I get it. Glint Sleeve Crane, or Glint-Nest Crane will get you a card most of the time in this deck. There's so many artifacts, so you're probably not going to whiff on your Crane. It could happen. Like, I'm going to say you could see some lands and some non-artifact cards, but more than likely you're going to find your artifact card there with the Crane. But Land of War Elves in particular is the one that I'm a little bit on the fence about. With all the Goblin Chain Whirlers, Goblin Chain Whirlers made up about 36% of the meta during the Pro Tour, so more than 1 out of every 3rd deck that you're going to play, closer to 3 out of every, or 2 out of every, let's just say 4 out of every 10, right? 2 out of every 5. More like 2 out of every 5 you were going to play was going to have Goblin Chain Whirler. So most of your games, the Land of War Elves is going to be in some serious danger. I don't think that you have room to really take it out, especially against those aggressive decks. But Land of War Elves is still a solid card, and when we can get it down and they don't have the Bolt for the bird or the Shock for the elf, I don't know. But if they don't have a way to destroy your elf, you're probably going to get down some really good value either by turn 3 or turn 4. Whether you're playing, Karn on 3 or you're playing Verdurous Gearhulk on 4, those are both still really powerful plays. So I definitely can understand why they wanted to play the Land of War Elves. That getting these cards down early is absolutely terrific. But overall, I didn't feel that the deck had enough power to compete with most of the red decks. However, most of the pros thought that it did. There were quite a few people that actually took this deck to the Pro Tour, and I'm not for sure that many of them made it into the day 2 with it. Now, that was the one card Brandon just mentioned. No Metallic Mimic? Poopy Fatty. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Says, thanks for all the sweet content. Well, I hope you like the Flame deck that we're going to be playing later this week. A lot of people have played around with the Flame deck, and I think his name was Elias. Elias, which is our... He just made Worlds. I can't remember his last name, but he just made Draft Master, and he was playing with the Flame deck, and I think he went like 10-3 or something like that with the deck. Went really had a really good running with the deck, and it was just a really powerful deck. And we're going to be playing that later this week, so make sure you subscribe if you want to see that. Another thing, guys, these decks are not cheap. This one in particular, mainly because of the Karn, and a lot of people are wanting to play with Karn and a lot of other cards. You might want to try Karn in some other builds. I've seen green-black Karn. I've seen green-blue Karn. I've personally run red-black Karn, and for the most part, this deck's about $300 on MTGO, and even more than that on paper. So if you do want to play this deck, or even play some other versions of it, or play around with it, I highly recommend renting with manatraders. As always, you guys know that I'm always preaching manatraders, manatraders, manatraders. You may not want to go buy, $200 worth of Karns. Try them out. Find out what builds you're going to build them in before you go buy it, and manatraders is great at that. Links in the description box along with a coupon that will save you 15% on your first 3 months. So check it out. Try it for yourself. See if it matches your play style. And we're going to give it a test run tonight. I have yet to play this deck, so this is going to be my first time through it. But the deck looks a little bit complicated to operate. I think more times than not, we're probably going to be sacrificing our Karns just for some Scion, or for some tokens. I wanted to say Scion tokens, but just for some tokens. So his neg 2, Karn says, create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token with. This creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. Remember, the creature itself does count as an artifact, so it's always going to be +1/+1. However, if you have an Implement Down, or a Spyglass, or a Trawler, or Aethersphere Harvester, or any of your artifacts, it's just going to get bigger and bigger. And if you can make a second one the next turn, then it's going to, each of them will be +2/+2. So Karn works really, really well, and this deck is all about abusing Karn. And we've seen the power of just using his +1 and his -1 ability to just get more cards and get the proper cards into your hand. However, this card is all about not only using those first abilities to abuse them, but it's also wanting to abuse the -2 ability to make constructs. So there will be quite a few times where we just play our Karn knowing that it's probably about to get a Vraska's Contempt or something, and we're just going to make a construct out of it. Now, if we have enough artifacts on the battlefield, those constructs are going to be absolutely huge and they're going to be hard to deal with. Hopefully this deck will push the number of abrades the opponents have to the point where they can't properly abrade any of our late game targets. Hopefully we'll have them out of abrades by the time we get to a Verdurous Gearhulk. Maybe, maybe not. But luckily with our Scrap Trawler, if we do have a Verdurous Gearhulk on the battlefield and a Scrap Trawler and they kill the Verdurous Gearhulk, we get back almost any artifact in the deck, considering Verdurous Gearhulk has such a higher converted mana cost than the others. Let's read Scrap Trawler really quick for those of you that don't really know this card. Scrap Trawler says that whenever Scrap Trawler or another artifact you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, return to your hand target artifact card in your graveyard with lesser converted mana cost. Now, this doesn't say non-token artifact, so if you had a way to get back a token that had a converted mana cost, say, let's say GPG was bringing back a Gearhulk, that Gearhulk would then have a converted mana cost that would still work with your Scrap Trawler. So it doesn't say non-token artifact. So some tokens do have converted mana cost, but most tokens do not have a converted mana cost. So that do remember that if you do end up with some type of play like that in one of your builds, that is a viable option. If you have, like, you know, maybe blue-black Karn and you're running the Scarab God. Scarab God tokens do produce converted mana cost, so that would trigger the Scrap Trawler and get you back something of a lesser converted mana cost. Well, in this deck, what we're really trying to do is sacrifice our Implements of Ferocity, and from that sacrifice, we should be able to get back a Walking Ballista, and then playing our Walking Ballista over and over and over, sacrificing, say, an Implement or something else just to get back a Walking Ballista. LSV said that Walking Ballista was your best card in the deck. Well, your best non-Karn card in the deck. So I probably horribly misquoted LSV right there, but something along those lines. And if you check the article out below, you'll see what I was talking about. However, Walking Ballista is terrific, and most of us know this. Most of us have even asked for a ban on Walking Ballista. Not me, of course, because, well, I love my Walking Ballista, you know what I mean? I love it. I love Walking Ballista, so. What's up, Dragon Lord? How you doing? Jareth Miles, what's up? For the Horde, Michael, how you doing? Jizza, Rockers in the house. Rush is here. What's up, Rossi, Zaxadillo, Poopy Fatty's here. I said Rocker, right? What's up, Rocker? Brandon Hall, how you doing? Taco is crazy. That's right. Smash that like button. Smash the like button. You know you wanted to see this deck played. You know you wanted to see somebody play this deck. Who else did I get? How Internet up at the top. Robert, what's up, fella? And then James, how you doing, James? Nimigan? Nimigan? I butchered that. Of course I butchered that. Either way, let's get into some. Oh, some of you just clicked your like button again. It removes the like when you click your like button again. Come on, that's mean. All right. One of the first versions of this deck I seen didn't have a sideboard. Louis Scott Vargas later posted his sideboard, and we're going to be running his exact 75. I've not made any changes to the deck, and again, I am going into this blind. I have yet to run this deck, and I am worried about Goblin Chainwhirler. You feel like if there's a ban that it should be Goblin Chainwhirler for the Horde? Personally, I think Goblin Chainwhirler is doing something really, really powerful in the meta that is necessary. Goblin Chainwhirler is actually slowing the meta down. Yes, it's being run in one of the fastest decks in the meta, however, it is slowing the meta down. Even those mono red decks have had to take a step back, maybe a one-turn step back, because of certain cards they just can't run against Goblin Chainwhirler. And because of that, the meta has slowed down just a minuscule, just a hair. And that's made openings for other decks to kind of come in. It also has increased the power of Vraska's Contempt. Because we're that one turn slower, more Vraska's Contempts are able to be cast. It's more likely that you're going to get to turn 4, so that you're going to be able to push a fight on into the late game. So as long as you don't choke, and that's kind of what those red decks are hoping for. They're hoping for your deck to choke, and then they're going to capitalize on that. And if you watch in the Pro Tour, the final games there, and Zach Zillow, I hope you have finished it, man, because spoiler alert, when Red Deck was playing against the Red-Black deck there, the Red-Black deck for multiple games just choked on land. It was just not getting enough land to put enough threats down. And honestly, I believe if the Red-Black deck would have gotten at least one more land in a couple of those games, we would have had a Red-Black victor in the Pro Tour. However, Red Deck capitalizes and punishes those decks that choke on mana. So out of all times, you really, really, really just need to just play the lands. Make sure you're going to hit your mana, your land drops. It's very, very important, guys. All right, so I'll quit talking about the Pro Tour. We'll talk about this this game, and we'll go from there. All right. I do want to pull up the sideboard here for you guys. Now, there's a couple cards in the sideboard that I was really happy to see, and there's a couple cards that I wasn't exactly like excited to see as a 4 of. Livecrafter's Bestiary is a great card. Should it be a 4 of? I don't really know, but I do know that if you have it, and with multiple copies, if you have the additional mana, it is really, really good. Now, I don't think we're going to be getting a ban because of Goblin Chain Whirler or anything like that. But like, I think that they're going to just wait till October, let things rotate. Let's see what happens after that. But with Goblin Chain Whirler in the meta, there's just not as much room for those early creatures. And you'll see here that we have Thrashing Brontodons, which is really good against the red-black Heart of Kirin decks. You're surviving against Chain Whirler. You can block a Chain Whirler. You can destroy a Heart of Kirin. You can do a lot of things with this card. Another card that meets the same principles because of that 3/4 body is Greenbelt Rampager. Why they're only running a single copy in the sideboard, I'm not really sure on. I would like to see like a breakdown of why you would, sideboard this in, when you would and when you wouldn't. And I'm pretty sure it's just against Chain Whirler you're gonna be siding this in. But another really good card here is Vizier of Many Faces. I was really happy to see Vizier of Many Faces along with Baral's Expertise. Baral's Expertise is a card that as soon as I was looking at Karn, I was like, man, Karn looks really good with Baral's Expertise. I'll return some of your stuff. I'll play my Karn for free off of it and then uptick my Karn or something like that. So I do... wow, do we have them all here tonight? All the Blue Wrenches are here tonight? Wow, guys. Welcome. Like, big props for our moderators, all 3 making it to the same stream. All right, that's awesome. Love you guys. Right, the Blue Wrench Squad. There you go. Anyway, Baral's Expertise, just a terrific card, allowing you to play pretty much everything in the deck except for your Verdurous Gearhulk off of it. Now, you could play a Walking Ballista, but it's going to come down as 0 converted mana cost and instantly die. I don't know why you would want to do that, but I'm sure someone could come up with a reason at some point. Now, Vizier of Many Faces is going to be one of our best answers against certain mechanics or certain creatures. Like, you might want to copy, a Carnage Tyrant, and remember, you can copy Carnage Tyrant with Vizier of Many Faces, so like that's kind of one of our only answers to Carnage Tyrant. Now, Crushing Canopy, like seeing this in the deck kind of made me chuckle a little bit. A lot of people were excited about Crushing Canopies. A lot of people are like, I don't know, I don't like Crushing Canopy, but the card works really well against a particular matchup, mainly the red or the white blue matchup where they have Lyras and things like that. I mean, or even the black-white deck, bringing this in to deal with Sillaways or to deal with their Lyras is just absolutely terrific. So I do like a couple copies of Crushing Canopy here. And then another Metallic Rebuke and 1 Negate. Now I was a little offset by this, the fact that they were only running 1 Negate in the sideboard, and I think that that's mainly because they're really relying on the Metallic Rebuke. Now, Mana Leak's a good card, but so is Negate right now. and we're gonna give this a look. We're gonna see how well this deck works. I do really like Brawl's expertise against things like Hazard and stuff like that. So it is a decent, let's put some cards back in your hand. We're going to put 3 of your creatures back, so it's going to be harder for you to get those creatures out of your hand, so it'll be harder for you to swing with Hazard again. And that's kind of the idea with Brawl's expertise. Let's put some stuff back into your hand. Also, we could always just return one of our own artifacts so that we could play it again, which may not be horrible if we've already swung with a Verdurous Gearhulk, we've already displayed our counters on it, and then maybe bounce 2 of their creatures, bounce our Verdurous Gearhulk, and then replay it the next turn or something with some getting some more counters and stuff. So it looks like there could be some really good play in there. Also, the Vizier of Many Faces in a lot of situations could just copy one of our cards. Having an additional Scrap Trawler could mean a lot of value for us. So we are going to toy around with it a little bit. We'll see how the deck works, and hopefully we have some fun with it, right? All right, guys. I think I've gave some shout outs. If I missed anyone, I just have no idea why they have a Singleton Rampager. I think that it's supposed to be there to just be another 3/4 body for Chain Whirlers, but man, just that Singleton Greenbelt Rampager seems like it's going to be a little bit painful. But for 3 green, you can just play it, and then make it stick. So yeah, I guess it's just for the value of eating Chain Whirlers. So all right, guys, let's get into some gameplay and see how this deck works. Let's go play some cues where they can't scoop on us, right? Can't scoop when we just do some crazy stuff. I'm pretty sure it's just against Chain Whirler. It's card draw for the bestiary. Absolutely, you're right. You do need a good way to spend that mana if you want to do that. Like Long Tusk Cub was terrific. In the past, we've seen Lifecrafter's Bestiary work with Long Tusk Cub and Greenbelt Rampager to always just eat that mana or that energy before you could get the opportunity. Now we do have an opportunity to eat the mana or eat the energy with something like Servant of the Conduit. So, I mean, there are some options there where we can use Servant of the Conduit to reduce that mana so that we can keep cashing it in to draw more cards. So, yeah, that might actually be it, just the fact that it is another card draw engine. But I think it's also just really good against Chain Whirler. So, I'd say both of those had quite a bit of factoring when it come to making that decision. I guess it goes without saying that we could also just use Aether Hub to keep that energy away. So we've got a Land of War Elves. Don't really have much else to ramp into with the Land of War Elves, but we're gonna give it a shot anyway. Take a look and see what happens. So I'm gonna keep this hand. It looks pretty sweet. We'll start with the Botanical Sanctum, Land of War Elves, and go from there. I mean, if they kill the Land of War Elves, we oh wow, okay. So yeah, we'll go Botanical Sanctum, Land of War Elf. You'll be mad unless they unban Ferocidon. You'll be mad if they ban Chain Whirler unless they unban Ferocidon. So, Ferocidon was also a card that restricted the meta. It really held back those decks that that wanted to gain life and go into the late game because they had gained a little bit of life. So Ferocidon was very restrictive or on the meta because of that. Whereas, man, this is blue-green. This is blue-green or blue-red Godpharaoh's Gift or something. Target creature gets +2/+2 and gains indestructible till end of turn. Wow. Okay, so maybe not. Come on, give me a Karn. Okay, so I kind of think that I just want to play Glintnest Crane here and see if I can just go find another artifact to play or something, like an implement or something like that. So I am going to just play the Crane and swing for 1. However, I could also play the Scrap Trawler and be ready to swing next turn. But with no artifacts in the graveyard, like revealing my Scrap Trawler, like unless we know we're going on that aggressive line, I don't really know if we should do that. However, right now, it looks like he might be low on creatures. And if he is low on creatures, I would like to get some value and go ahead and play this, but I don't expect him to be playing something like Chain Whirler next turn. So I'm going to just play the Crane, and if we hit a 1-mana artifact, we will play it, but if we don't hit an implement, I'm just going to swing. Okay, so we get Aethersphere Harvester and Verdurous Gearhulk. I definitely have the mana to cast this Verdurous Gearhulk in another turn or two here, or another 2 turns. If the Llanowar lives, if the Llanowar doesn't live, we still have the mana we need. So we've got Verdurous Gearhulk options, and that's kind of one of the best things about Glintnest Crane is you can have a flyer in the air with some counters on it. Okay, so he gets a Sprinter, haste, and it can't be blocked. So this is happening. So I expect that he's wanting to do some pumping on that. And we get another Crane. So I could Walking Ballista here, and I think it's the proper play, is to just go ahead and Walking Ballista for 2. And this gives us the option to just shoot this down, which is probably the right call, right? But it could also just be, let's take a couple more hits. If he goes to, maybe I should have swung for 1. I mean, since we can't block this, but I'm thinking maybe he's got some other haste creatures. If it's just 2, I'm just going to take it. If he goes to add more to it, then we'll do some more stuff here. Okay, so no additional. He's just going to draw some cards with his Chart, of course. Looks like he's missing white mana. I mean, the deck's clearly got white mana. This is not a card that you're just splashing for, I don't think. I mean, does he counter us here? I mean, does a deck like this run main board counter for this? I don't know. We're going to find out. Looks like they do not. I think I want more counters here. Maybe even 0 counters on the Verdurous Gearhulk. And just split it 2 and 2 here. Swing for 4. I mean, because if he has a Braid, he's going to get the Gearhulk anyway. So, yeah, let's go ahead and just do a little bit of damage and go from there. I mean, I say a little bit of damage, but we're hitting for 7 here on turn 4. And I missed a point of damage last turn, so they could have been at 11, which means if they take the hit next turn, it's over. I think if they take the hit next turn, it's over anyway. Got to kill the unblockable guy? Why? Why do we got to kill it? Like, it's about to have to block us. Okay. Like, I'm still a little confused as to why we have to kill it. And only thing I'm going to do here is pump with the Haship Oasis. If you control another pirate, untap up to 2 target. or tap up to 2. Okay, so I mean now he's giving me reason to kill it. And we'll just attack here. So we're swinging, we've got a 6/8 and we have a 4/4 with trample. So I mean if he wants to block the 6/8, that's fine. The reason I put the counters here on the Glint Nest Crane was because I was worried about a Braid. So I was playing around a Braid. And that's the only reason I didn't just put everything on the Verdurous Gearhulk. So he'll take a little bit of damage here. Second main phase, we will play another Crane. See if we can find a little bit more goodness. Yeah, this looks like some more goodness. And then next turn, we're just looking at playing another Verdurous Gearhulk and swinging. Opponent's cat just took a dump. He needs to scoop it. That's about right. I mean, that's kind of the power of the deck. The deck has some really powerful lines, and turn 4 Verdurous Gearhulk's pretty good. So I mean, it's not bad. We know that our opponent's playing a deck full of flying, hard to block creatures, so we didn't see much out of it. Just some hard to block stuff, or he probably wants to be aggressive for that Siren. So I expect that Siren's one of those things where I tap down your blockers and I'm getting in anyway. So maybe that's what the opponent was doing there. I think Crushing Canopy is one of the few cards that I actually want to bring in. Just take out the Sorcerer's Spyglass, bring in a couple Crushing Canopies. Maybe negate or something like that, but for the most part I think we can just Karn him to death. So man, I ate pizza and you guys have to forgive me for that. It's pizza, it's making me burp. You would run back the same? I'm running close to the same back, just the Crushing Canopies over the 2 artifacts. I don't think that we need to do a lot of other changes here. No, this would be a completely different hand from what we had last turn, and it may be good, maybe bad. I mean, we have 3 mana. It's hard to say no to this hand. However, this hand's not like super aggressive. I am going to go ahead and play it. We're just going to try to do the Walking Ballista thing. If we don't swing on 3 with our Walking Ballista, well, we can just hold up 3 mana. Yeah. We'll see how it goes. Ooh, there we go. So we'll Botanical Sanctum and get down to Servant of the Conduit, which can still give us a really decent turn 3. Opt from the opponent. He's going to scry 1 and draw a card at the end of our turn. Pizza burps are the best. Oh man, yeah. Meat lovers. Ooh, it was so good. What did you miss? You didn't miss much. You just missed us running over this weird little deck that keeps throwing away his indestructible till end of turn card. Okay, so let's just drop Island. Mainly the island in case we draw like a Hinterland Harbor, and I don't want him to know about the Haship Oasis as long as I can hide it. So if we can sandbag the Haship Oasis, I will. We do get down our Servant of the Conduit, so he needs to like play red land and burn it. So Dickie's Barbecue. Oh man, have you ever went up to Bell Road there in Phoenix? There's a barbecue place called For the Pits Again, right? Or the Pits Again, or something like that. Botanical Sanctum has double strike as long as we have City's Blessing. Erg. I think I can just get away with a Walking Ballista here and then just pass. And then we'll just counter whatever he plays next turn. The opponent is playing Arena on MTGO. If this is his Arena deck, it's a little bit weak. Val is playing an Arena deck, and hers is ridiculous. Oh man, it's like Teferi and Karn. Like, she's playing the historic deck with Wrath and all the other good stuff. So, sure, opponent. You got it. So now we get to, like, crack back for 3 or maybe more. Chart, of course. I don't want you drawing additional cards. Come on, man. Alright, so we'll just counter it with Metallic Rebuke here. Like, I think with a deck like this, like, restricting his card draw is going to be good. Memphis Barbecue is the truth. Well, I just find it funny that for the pits again thing, like, some of you, if you don't know about barbecue here in the South, like, you have to tell them not to put coleslaw on your pulled pork sandwich. So if you're not a fan of coleslaw, then don't order barbecue here in the South. Oh man, do we just, like, put it all? Yeah, we do. Is there any reason to make this into 5 power? Like, we've seen a 3/3 from him, we've seen a 2/2 from him, this is a 2/2. It's a 2/2 with double strike. Yeah, okay, it's a 2/2 with double strike. So, we can go that route. Actually, I think this is better. 3 and 1. This allows this to all of a sudden block it. Yeah, I think this is better. Now, if he was a bigger deck, if it was a deck that I thought would have much bigger creatures in it and stuff like that, I would put more onto the Verdurous Gearhulk, but we're not going to here. My opinion of coleslaw on a barbecue sandwich, like, how do you eat barbecue without coleslaw on it? Like, come on. Anyway, I thought it was funny that if you go to the pits again in Arizona, they're like, you should try our award-winning sandwich. And it's literally just a barbecue sandwich with coleslaw on it. I'm like, this was your award-winning sandwich, right? Hey, I like Arby's, okay? Says Roman. Arby's is good. Ain't nothing wrong with some Arby's. Okay, so the opponent is definitely definitely on the blocking game plan here, I believe, or at least not in the game plan of swinging at us into our 4/4. Okay, so we can go Hash Up Oasis here. I can go Crane, and we have 3 mana open for something else if we need it. Whiffed on the Crane. Not cool. Not cool. I expect his next creature to be a flyer, so we'll have Crushing Canopy up for that. And I'll just hold the Scrap Trawler for now. Or should I just play the Scrap Trawler and swing? We can always Crushing Canopy next turn. We're not that hurt, so I will go ahead and play the Scrap Trawler in case he does have a Braid. And now we get to get aggressive, like very aggressive. The opponent is going to need to do something very serious to win this match. I mean, granted, this is not like a Pro Tour deck that we're playing against here, but that was some pretty powerful lines there with Verdurous Gearhulk. Gonna be so fun to crush that canopy. Like, I can see why they wanted to play this deck. Like, there's some serious stuff here. This is probably one of the slowest hands we could get. 4 lands. I think I can be slightly aggressive and mulligan this, but yeah. Feel sad about this deck, right? Like, to the opponent, it's like, oh man, yeah, we're playing like $200 worth in one play set, and you're playing like a budget deck. Yeah, yeah. The opponent's deck was so bad. Yeah, I'm actually going to ship this. I'm going to mulligan this hand. Hey, where did the deck come from? Like, this particular deck is from Channel Fireball. It's the one that most of the Channel Fireball all took to the Pro Tour Dominaria. So let's mulligan. This doesn't look a ton better, but it's not horrible either. So we've got a scry and we're on the draw, so we're still going to have 7 cards. I think I'm going to put Verdurous Gearhulk on the bottom and hope for another land here. We're probably going to lead with our Hinterland Harbor as well. Negatory on that. We're going to see if he's got that Fatal Push. Oh yeah, Pro Tour Dom, my bad. Martyr of Dusk. Okay. I like playing the tap Hinterland Harbor here and then Glintnest Crane. Yeah, I think that's the route I want to take. Well, we get another Verdurous. That's... At least he knows one's coming. So he'll have to deal with that. It looks like pretty much anything without Goblin Chainwhirler, the Land of War Elf is going to be absolutely terrific. So, oh, you mean the Pro Tour Red-Black vehicles? Something like that. Okay, well... Let's Crane again. Aether Sphere Harvester. Okay. We definitely need a land next turn, but I think we're... Do we even want to attack yet? I think we can hold off. We can wait till we get much larger than them. Yeah, Cabal's pretty decent. I mean, I can see people wanting to play him. Right? That's spicy tech right there. Yeah, it is. Ooh, look at his main board Argyle's Bloodfast. Oh, man. I think I want to just take this 2 life off of Cabal. Like, he can just have his trigger. I'm going to get down my Aether Sphere Harvester, which is easily crewed by the Cranes. Or Land of War Elf. I think we can afford to start getting in, doing a little bit of damage now. I expect him to draw, so he's going to take a little bit more life. So he's going to draw a card. He's going to go to 4 cards. You don't like vehicles? Call me old school, but if you want. But vehicles ain't your bag. Y'all don't like the style. Ain't your bag, y'all. Don't like the style. Kind of like morph cards. Just doesn't feel right. I can see that. Definitely looks like we're going to put as much power into the air as we possibly can. Well, I'm definitely just going to play the Verdurous Gearhulk. And we'll go... Crane. Yeah, we'll do it like this. Now we're pushing for quite a bit of damage. Like, the Cranes are really, really good for that aspect right there. Like, what you just seen is one of the best things you can do with the Crane. Louis Scott Vargas said in that article that's in the description box that Scrap Trawler was just a cheap creature. You do get a little bit of recursion from it. Buying back Walking Ballistas is kind of the main reason that it's here. So it's not one of the more powerful cards in this deck, as the deck's not really built around Scrap Trawler. It's more or less built around the interaction between Karn and making sure that Karn is a really powerful artifact or a really powerful engine in the deck. So I think we just go for lethal here. So we're going to just try that. Let's go ahead and we're going to crew with the Lana War Elf. So I'll hit done on that. We're going to go to Verdurous Gearhulk. And we're going to spread some love here. And he's just going to scoop it up. Yeah. So that's kind of the point, you know. You just make huge Glint-Nest Cranes. If any of you guys played with cards like Mantis, the Mantis Rider, like, you understand that 3 damage in the air every turn is just, the clock is outrageous. It doesn't take long to finish a game out. So you only just found out about LSV. What a madman he is. I mean, LSV is pretty cool. I like him. Over 100 watching. Don't forget to hit that like button. Absolutely. You know you guys want to hit that like button. There's thanks Fatty for that. But yeah, you know you guys wanted to see this deck get played, and it's a pretty cool deck so far. I mean, we've just kind of done things that are just, oh, right, Mantis Rider, the good old days. But yeah, that's kind of the plan. Just get in the air, make some dudes big, get some extra value from Karn. We've yet to actually cast Karn, and the deck has been running really well without Karn, so that's pretty nice. I kind of like that. I don't expect the opponent to have a lot of, like, creatures to fight us. I think in this matchup, I just want to bring in Baral's Expertise. We'll take out Sorcerer's Spyglass. I didn't see a lot of, I don't know, maybe we could call the Argyle's Bloodfast, like the backside of it, so he can't actually tap it to sacrifice things and start gaining life. But, you know, we'll see. Wow, some of you guys definitely hit that like button. We just gained like 10 likes. That's awesome. That likes really do help, guys. It does. It helps our video get put into more people's feeds, and more people see it. It helps the YouTube algorithm, you know, learn the video. So I do appreciate it when you guys hit that like button. You know, just the 2 Sorcerer's Spyglasses out, bring in 2 Baral's Expertise. I'm not really seeing a reason to go for more draw value here. Maybe in game 3 or something like that, we might want to take that route, but I kind of just want to see more of what's going on. So, been enjoying the stream for the last couple of months. You're looking forward to me going live each night. Wow, replace TV for you. That's huge, man. Me, redneck old me, playing some Magic. Well, dude, I appreciate that, man. I do. Look, guys, we've got an awesome turn 3 Karn hand. We get to go turn 1 Implement, turn 2 Servant of the Conduit, let that get killed, play our Karn on 4, turn 3 Karn hand. All right, let's give it a shot. We're going to see how it works. I do like the mana that we have for this turn. So yeah. All right. So we're gonna go Implement. I mean, we've got a really good backup if he does kill our Servant of the Conduit. We can just play the Aether Hub. We have our green source here. And we'll play our Servant. Gain our 2 energy. We'll be at 3 energy and pass the turn. So, I mean, he's got his Evolving Wilds. He can pay a life to kill it, which he's going to do. Alright, so next turn we're looking at Aether Sphere Harvester, and then hopefully follow that up. I don't know. Maybe it's not Aether Sphere Harvester. Maybe it's Walking Ballista and Sack and Implement. I think it is. I think it's Walking Ballista, Sack Implement to draw a card, and we can do that at the end of their turn. So that's the route I'm going to take here. We might take a little bit of damage, but we've got a really good mid-range plan. So we'll just take this 2 points of damage. Does he have something like Cabal? Okay. I am going to go ahead, sack the Implement. Oh, it's sorcery speed only. I forgot it's one of the implements that can only be done at sorcery speed. Oh well. Oh well. Alright, well. Maybe we sacrifice it anyway. Really want that land. There's a Crane. Crane doesn't get us a land, though. I'm just going to play another Implement and sacrifice it. There's a Llanowar Elf. The good news is now we can block Sunscourge Champion, which is not like overwhelmingly great, but it's not horrible either. Sure. The opponent did get his mana. I mean, he's flush on deserts here. Fragment. Oh my goodness! I allowed that to resolve. What a punt! Oh, that should have been shoot you. Okay, so we're gonna play Aether Sphere Harvester. I'm gonna play Llanowar Elf and pass. Next turn we can play Karn, make a dude with Karn, and play an Implement. Yeah, I'll take the beat. We'll trade an Implement or a Karn Scion or a Karn artifact. So we'll go Karn. We'll down tick Karn. Make a dude. Play Implement. Now we have a 3/3 guy, and we can crew the Harvester. So yeah, we'll stick with the down tick plan here. I mean, the opponent's only got 2 cards left in hand, and we're not far from having a pretty decent board state. So I will trade this for the... Sure. Yeah. That's what it was there for. I mean, he basically just hit Karn for 2 and lost his dude. Crested Sunmare. This is again. Yeah, I brought the Brawl's expertise in. Well, that's not overwhelmingly great. I think we need to look for Brawl's expertise here. We get a Glint Nest, and he put another Glint Nest in the... Alright, so... How do we stop Crested Sunmare? So we could get Verdurous... We could go Verdurous Gearhulk on it. and just get really big, or we could get in the air. Let's crew. I mean, it's a 14-point life swing, so yeah, he's got crested sunmares. But I think the 14-point life swing is going to be better than. Yeah, I think the point here is just to race the opponent at this point. If he wants to start swinging, then that's fine. Um, this is probably going to win this fight, especially with the amount of energy we have. Okay, he's paying. He's paying again. 13. Okay. We can make it a 16-point life swing by next turn cracking our Implement of Ferocity. We're also at, we're going to be at 4 artifacts here. Both of them are at Karn. Sure, Karn's dead. Got me Karn, or got my Karn. Bye Karn. Thanks for killing an Aether Sphere Harvester and getting us another Glint Nest. Fragmentize. No. That's brutal. Brutal. I do want to point out, guys, like, I was unaware that this was sorcery speed, so that's a thing. Let's crane. We may end up craning again, but I may also just end up playing the Harvester, depending on if I get a Gear... Nope, no Gear Hulk. So we'll go any order. Yep, I'm just going to crane again here. There's our Verdurous Gear Hulk. We'll go... I want to draw another card. So I'm going to make this Verdurous Gear Hulk big enough to trade with his Sun-Crested Mirror. We'll play our land for the turn, and maybe we don't even worry about trading with the mirror. I mean, if he sacks these, he gets to gain life, he gets to make another. Okay, I'll wait. So we'll just block, stop 5 points of damage. He's got 1 card left in hand. Ooh, there's a Legion's Lieutenant. Okay, well... I definitely think we're going Verdurous here. And we're probably going to... Yeah, I know... Like, I want to go like this. One of them's okay with being able to trade, but I want the crane doing work in the air. Really, really wish I would have had the walking ballista here. So maybe I do need to get this scrap trawler out and value that a little bit more. Once he gets this flip, though, he's about to have a good time. I mean, he's going to be able to sack one of these, gain 5 life. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be pretty nice for him. I mean, he does need to... My plan is to go for lethal next turn. Okay, so we're going to have to go for a little bit more than that. Go 4 here, would be 7. Alright, so he's gained some life. We'll see how he plays this. Might have to do some math. Alright, so he gains another dude. He's at 8. We can go... I don't think I even need to hit him unless I'm hitting him for a ton. I mean, I am going to hit him for 7 here. He gains 5 next turn. Yeah, I think that's the play. Just keep getting in the air. Maybe I should have put more counters on the Crane earlier instead of putting some on the Verdurous Gearhulks and such. I mean, he is going to gain 5 life per turn here. But if that's his major game plan is to gain 5 life per turn, then we're doing more than that in damage, and I think we can beat it. I don't know. I don't know. All those +1/+1 counters and no fling. Rush, are you biting your nails right now? Right? I'm kind of want to nibble on mine a little bit. I'm thinking I might have... I didn't know about the Crested Sunmare earlier, but I definitely think I should have went... Yeah, he's got to weaken this. Walking Ballista off the top would be absolutely terrific. Well, there's no reason to not eat these creatures. Rocker, thank you for sponsoring. I'm pretty sure you probably just got our next emoji. So we'll have the Mana Screw, or the next emoji is going to be a screw for when we get Mana Screwed, but you know. Alright, so we eat one, he's doing that. Alright, so I'm going to go... I'm just going to kill him. Yeah, I don't see what else we should do here. Other than just sack the Haship Oasis and enjoys the golden nuts. It was our first emoji, was a golden nut, you know, when you have these golden top decks. But yeah, the opponent just, like, even though we had all these things going on, he just couldn't beat our aerial assault. And I'm sure that I butchered that. You guys are probably going to find some punts in there. Like, I'm going to see it in the comments, like, oh, if you would have done this and this. And even I was looking at it like, okay, I think that there was a lot of... I think there was a lot of, like, interactions there where I could have put an extra +1 counters here or there, and they like, with a little more practice, if you guys want to, like, pick this deck up and play with it a little bit, you're going to know how to make those decisions. But for the most part, like, the deck is just really, really powerful. +1 counters on a Crane. Who knew? Who knew? Apparently, most of Channel Fireball knew. The deck is really, really good, and you can make some things really big. So, you literally missed that entire match. Did we win? Of course we won! Of course we won! Trevor says, "Hey man, I've been running Wyatt Darby's Mono Red, the champ. Yeah, Darby, he played some good Magic. Decks and leagues this week. You've been struggling against blue-white torrential Gearhulk decks, like really struggling. Advice: kill them before turn 6. If you if you're going to get into those late games, then a lot of times you're going to end up with just like these games where you just have this this hazard it down and you're just like throwing cards at them. Like the only thing you can really do is just throw cards with your hazard at them and just get that inevitability. They don't have a lot of life gain and things like that, so just don't swing. Just start throwing every turn. Like, go into the late game. They want to go to the late game anyway. The best they can do is like bounce your hazard, and at some point you're gonna be like, okay, I don't care, I've got like 6 mana, I'm gonna replay hazard, or I've got 7 mana, I'm gonna replay hazard and go from there. Good luck, opponent. Okay, we've got 3 land, we've got early ramp, we've got our win con. It's crazy that I'm pointing to a Glennis Crane going, this is our win con. Oh. But it is. So maybe we'll actually get some use out of Scrap Trawler. I probably, like, there was a couple turns there last time where I more than likely could have played the Scrap Trawler and just traded the Scrap Trawler for Walking Ballista back. I'm used to playing Scrap Trawler decks where you you just, oh, we're playing the same deck again. Okay. But I'm used to playing these Scrap Trawler decks where you don't want Scrap Trawler to die. In this deck, you more than likely just want to trade your Scrap Trawler for your Walking Ballista back. I should just scoop on this dude so we don't have to play the same deck again, but I'm not going to. Ooh, second Legion's Landing was a good hand for the opponent. I mean, he might have a Fatal Push. I guess not. Same opponent, confirmed. Yeah, Tycho Lotus, 3/3/3. I'd say he just queued up again. Same thing I did. So, yeah, I'm going to Crane here. If we hit a Ballista, I'll just play the Ballista. No Ballista. I'm just going to Crane again. I mean, it's decent card value. Ballista blocks these 1/1s very well. Or, sorry, Glen S. Crane blocks these 1/1s very well, so that's decent. He is getting really, really close. I mean, if he wants to flip this Legion's Landing and play his Crested Sunmare this turn, he can do that. He can swing and trade these 2 vampires, gaining life, playing Crested Sunmare, and get a 5/5 at the end of turn. So he definitely had some play there. Okay, so I am going to... I'm going to get in. I'm also going to sacrifice my Walking Ballista here before combat. If he just goes into combat, I'm just going to sacrifice the Walking Ballista to shoot both of these. I just don't want him to flip this, especially since he hasn't played another land yet. I think if he was really hurting on land, though, he would have force flipped the Legion's Landing, and so far he hasn't done that. So yeah, if he's trying to force flip, we're just going to shut down the force flip. And then next turn, put 2 3/3s in the air and go from there. The turn after that, they'll be both 5/5s, and it's going to get mean. I mean, they do die to Fatal Push, but he hasn't pushed us yet. There's a Llanowar Elf. Not something we're interested in just yet. The 4/4 body here is normally large enough to just beat the opponent's, opposing creatures. I mean, it's a lot of threat. A lot of threat. Now, next turn, I'm actually going to prioritize getting the Scrap Trawler down, as that will get us a Walking Ballista back, and it'll help us push the latter part of the game here. I don't know. Do we do that? We didn't hit a land. I think I just go for it. We just Verdurous Gearhulk again. More pumps. I mean, he either has an answer for these or he scoops. The reason I'm going to swing with this is because the extra point of damage will help us a little. Vraska's Contempt. Okay, he gets rid of one of them. Does he double block here? Double block. Yeah. I'm going to kill Baral and not the Sun Scourge champion. So he can't bring that back and gain the extra 4 life. So we're going to deal damage like that. And he'll be at 11. Yeah. I think we're okay here. I mean, a 5/7 Crane. Jeez. That's why he was willing to do it. The opponent, just full of hard-to-use cards. I mean, it's not hard to use Vraska's Contempt, but it's hard to use a bunch of legendaries and things, so... So we'll hit him for 6. We'll play Scrap Trawler. And pass. This holds up Metallic Rebuke, which, I mean, if he has something like a Vraska's Contempt or something like that, Metallic Rebuke's going to be terrific here. If he goes to swing, we trade the Scrap Trawler for one of his creatures, and... Okay, he's just going to sacrifice an If Near Dead lands. Yeah. He's just got to make it weaker. Which is probably still not going to be as good as he wants it to be. Okay, so he blocks, he blocks, he blocks. See, this isn't what he wanted to do here. Alright, so we're going to use the Scrap Trawler to get back Walking Ballista. And then This is going to seem weird, guys, but I'm going to play Walking Ballista for 1. I can't kill him right now with Walking Ballista, so I'm going to play Walking Ballista for 1. Then I'm going to play Walking Ballista for 1. And the main reason I'm doing this is because I want to be able to stop something like a Vraska's Contempt from gaining him some additional life. And I think we can do that by holding up a secret Metallic Rebuke. It definitely doesn't look like we're holding up a counterspell right now, but we are holding up the counterspell, so we can stop pretty much anything that happens. And yeah, that's game. What a crazy deck, right? Again, I think I want more, like, now that I know the deck that I'm playing against, I'm going to bring in a little bit more Metallic Rebuke. Lifecrafter's Bestiary might be good, but I don't think that's where we want to be. Vizier of Many Faces does look like it would be a lot of fun. I don't think I really need the Scrap Trawlers as much. And I'm going to get rid of the Sorcerer's Spyglasses yet again. Other than that, I'm just going to run it back like that. I think Vizier in this particular matchup, we're going to be... we're probably going to be copying our own Verdurous Gearhulks and things like that. Copy that Chemball. Well, he's got a lot of creatures too, so maybe copying Chemball is the way to go. Maybe it's not, but I mean, he's got a lot of non-creature spells too. I mean, he had the Legion's Landing and such, but I'm actually expecting that I'm going to be just copying my own Verdurous Gearhulks, which seems pretty sweet. You know, we haven't drawn the Sorcerer's Spyglass, but I also keep taking it out every game because, like, it's not a Teferi or Karn deck. So I think that's the main reason they're in there, is for the Teferis and Karns and things like that. So I'm going to mulligan this hand. And this seems like a nice and horrible hand, so we're going to keep it. I'll say this, guys. After playing the deck, I see why there's a lot of people that thought... Like, the deck can attack you from a side that you're more than likely not expecting. I think this is going to be a Scrap Trawler game. I think it is. I think this is going to be a heavy on the Walking Ballista plan. And I think Scrap Trawler fits that really well. Glintnest. Oh, no. Well, I mean, that's not horrible. So, I'll actually play Servant, and that's going to mean that we get a 2-power Walking Ballista next turn. We also stop this Vampire from swinging at us this turn. I mean, unless he's got Fatal Push. He may have a Fatal Push or something like that. Aerial Responder. He's going to get up in the air and fight with us. Okay. Like, do we even need to go Karn here? Sure. We can play Karn. And then next turn play... Yeah, we'll uptick Karn because I don't think he's going to be able to kill Karn here with 3 power. Oh, we got another Karn. This may end up as one of those hands where we like try to make a bunch of Karn Strucks and things like that. Ballista is greater than Gearhulk. You know, it may be greater than Gearhulk. But when you combine, with your powers combined. Alright? Okay? That's wonderful news, Kyle. Hope you open lots of great cards. What? What'd you do, Kyle? Kyle said, just cracked a foil Field of Ruin and a Vraska's Contempt. Let's go. Still 30 packs to go. Right? Hey, foil Vraska's Contempt. What is that, like 20 bucks? 30 bucks? I don't know what the foil market is for that, but still. Okay, so he has to come at Karn here. which, you know, no big deal. I do think that Aerial Responder is a much better card than a lot of people have given it credit for over the past. And that's only because of the vigilance on it. Right now, it's in a little bit better of a spot than it's been in a long time, and that's mainly just because of Seal Away. I caught myself looking for a lot of cards that just didn't tap, and like when you start looking for cards that have vigilance naturally on them, oh, come on, dude, that ain't cool. I'm just going to play Ballista. I'm going to create a guy. And then if he tries to go to combat, I'm just going to remove one counter from the Ballista and shoot the Vampire. I'll let Karn take his beats. I just don't want him to flip the Legion's Landing. We don't have our aerial force like we have had in the past couple games, so that is a thing. I mean, if he goes for Karn here, Karn clearly just bites the dust. Against Karn, against Karn. Right, so he's not going to swing with this against Karn, just this. Okay, Karn's still going to bite the dust here. Another Legion's Landing. So he was definitely wanting to flip Legion's Landing and do mean things. Alright, well, we'll have a little something to say about that. Mainly this Verdurous Gearhulk. Now the big question here is, do we leave our Verdurous Gearhulk at 6 power? I think I want a 5 power Ballista. Do we swing? I mean, he has to put 2 things in front of this to kill it. I'm just going to swing with the Karnstruck. Not the Ballista, because I don't want him to put everything in front of the Ballista. As we would lose. So, I mean, he's got plenty of life total right now. He's gained a lot of life on us. Alright, so we will go ahead and kill the Vampire. And this leaves us at still 4 power, so we'll have to take the small amount of damage here. Wow, isn't that great? Okay, so I'm actually just going to play Karn again. We're going to down-tick Karn. We're going to make another dude. We're going to play our Implement. Yet another dude. And then swing? I mean, if he puts both in front of the Gearhulk to kill the Gearhulk, then I'm kind of okay with that. He's still going to take 5 there. Again, we'll just kill the Aerial Responder instead of killing the Sunscourge Champion, where he just takes the 9 damage. So we are to the point now where I'm... Don't be Settle the Wreckage. Don't be. Really? Is he going to seal it? Are you going to seal it away? He's going to seal away the Karnstruct. I do call those Karnstructs. So clever. Good day, guys. What game is this? You missed it. This is match 3. We've actually ended up playing this vampire slash whatever deck. I'm going to shoot this. Argyle's Bloodfast. He's going to draw a card, plays a land. He's got one card in hand, so at this point we're just going to just keep laying the pressure down. Alright, what do we get off the crane? Ooh, another implement. Like me some implements. Alright, so we're swinging. We'll do that and pass. Sure, seems good to me. I mean, we just hit for 10 points of damage right there, and we're threatening lethal next turn. Plus, we've got another Verdurous Gearhulk in hand. The deck has had all the tools to keep him off of the things that his deck was trying to do, which is really, really good. You know, honestly, if I would have seen him playing Gideon's Reproach, I would have been definitely trying to keep my Verdurous Gearhulks above 4, but I haven't seen any Gideon's Reproach yet. Like, there's a lot of reasons that you may or may not want to do it. The opponent said good game and scooped it up. Well, guys, what did you think about Blue-Green Karnstrucks? We went undefeated, didn't even drop a single game with it, so it's definitely something that I could see being a very powerful deck. However, we did not play against a Teferi deck. We did not play against Mono Red. We did not play against Red Black. So, like, we didn't get those type matchups, and you may not have those in your LGS. And I promise, this is a net deck that you would be able to take to your LGS, and most people are not going to be like, man, why are you playing that deck? They might be like, oh, you're playing Karn. But when you're playing cards like Implement of Ferocity, and you're playing Scrap Trawler, you're like, yes, I am. I'm playing the Karn deck. So, and it's Simic, right? A lot of you guys have been wanting to see a Simic deck. Personally, I think the deck is really, really good, except for in matchups against something like a Goblin Chain Whirler. I think that's kind of one of the reasons we didn't see this deck do as well as it did. I think it probably has a really good matchup against a lot of the other decks, especially with Karn. And we did get to see in that one match, you know, where we could just make Karnstrucks over and over again and use Karn for his neg 2 ability. And that's kind of what this deck was all about, was to really utilize that neg 2 ability. And you know, that's fun. I like it. I do like the idea. I had been wanting to see a Karnstrucks deck and knew that as soon as Karn, like, you can ask Jareth Miles, I was talking about this for quite some time, which is one of the reasons Jareth built his blue-black Karnstrucks, is because I was like, I'm searching for the shell for Karnstrucks. And, yes, I keep saying Karnstrucks. Anyway, I think the deck's really good. I think if you guys want to pick it up, you want to play with it, you want to use Mana Traders to rent it, give it a couple games, give it a shot, it's pretty good. It is really, really good. The deck it's good enough that multiple pros, almost all of Channel Fireball or all of Channel Fireball played it, LSV played it, Ivan Flock played it. These are some of our top pros. I think of Ivan Flock as one of the better control players ever. A lot of people may not agree with that, but I have seen the man make some plays and make some calls that was just like some Brad Nelson style standard plays. You know, we all know that, you know, Brad Nelson's one of the better players in standard. Maybe not so in modern or vintage or legacy. If you watch the games here on YouTube, but his standard play is on point, and I think that Ivan Flock also makes those kind of decisions. So I put Ivan very well high up there on my bar. And when you got someone like that, and you got someone like LSV playing this deck, it definitely deserves a second look. So pick it up on ManaTraders. The quick rent link's below. It's only about 300 bucks, so most of the premium users will be able to play this one. It's just a really cool deck, guys. You get to play with some really cool cards. You get to make some like really fun lines that'll really make you think. Most of the time there, you know, I was like, did I put the counters in the right spot and all this other stuff? And with a little bit of play, you'll be able to make those decisions without any care. Like, okay, I know exactly what I do against this deck. I know exactly what number I need to keep my Torrential Gear or my Verdurous Gear Hulk at. And that's going to be one of your bigger decisions right there is, am I in a matchup where Verdurous Gear Hulk's good on his own as a 4/4, or am I in a matchup where Verdurous Gear Hulk needs to worry about an abrade, so putting those counters somewhere where they can't be abraded might be more important, or do I need to force the abrade here, so let's put enough counters here to force the abrade. Like, so there's a lot of plays that you can do with the Verdurous Gear Hulk by itself. And honestly, one of your biggest decisions is going to be how many counters to leave on the Verdurous or to put those onto your flyers or something like that. Your other big decision is Karn up or Karn down. I'll leave it to you. Either way, guys, my name's Eric. You've been watching SideboardMTG. Man, it's been a lot of fun. This was a killer deck. I hope you all enjoy it. Give it that thumbs up. You know, hey, give those likes. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. If you want to help support the channel, there's ways you can do that. Patreon's down below. You can support right here in stream, like becoming a stream sponsor. Rocker, thank you very much for becoming a stream sponsor. I'll check. We may still need one more to get the mana screw as our next emoji, but have fun with your emojis. I like the new green name there in chat. So, you know, much love to Rocker and our new sponsor. Much love to Poopy Fatty for his fatty donation there. Didn't live long as our stream boss. Sponsors do that. They instantly kill the stream boss. Your name will be down there until someone kills you. But, guys, my name's Eric. It's been fun. We'll see you next time. Sideboard MTG.